Well, for more, we're joined now by the reporter Franz Marty, who's in Kabul. Franz, first of all, do we know who's in control of that border crossing with Pakistan?
Not definitively. The situation is confusing, as well as the Taliban, as well as the government claim they're in control of the border. Like the latest now, less than half an hour ago, there have been reports from Pakistan that sources claim that Pakistani officials and the Taliban have come to an agreement to reopen the border, which would suggest that Taliban are in control. But as I said, this is contested by the government. I tried to reach out to sources that are in Spin Boldak at the border crossing themselves. But the source that I could find left the area due to heavy fighting, so I couldn't verify that. In this regard, it's also important to mention that in situations like this, as well as the government, as well as the Taliban and their supporters, they share pictures on social media with their fighters in front of the border gate. But for example, the government today shared a picture that was apparently from last year. This sometimes also happens from the Taliban, so there's a lot of misinformation and really hard to determine how it looks like.
As I mentioned earlier, there's been talk of a possible ceasefire led by the Taliban. This would be in exchange for a release of thousands of their prisoners. How significant do you think this news is?
Indeed. Today it was confirmed by a government official a week ago on 9th of July. This was broken by a member of the Taliban negotiation team during a press conference in Moscow. According to the Taliban, they have made this proposal 3-4 months ago, shared this with the Americans, who in turn shared it with the Afghan government. And the proposal is that the Taliban demands the release of all their prisoners, which are allegedly 7,000, that all their members are removed from sanctions list, and in return they would offer a 90-day ceasefire in which they would not attack government forces and also not overrun further districts. And according to the Taliban, who said this, the idea is that during these 90 days, negotiations could lead to a result. That such a ceasefire will materialize is rather unlikely, because the government is very much justifiably worried about the sincerity of the Taliban. For example, last year the government released 5,000 Taliban prisoners, which should have facilitated peace talks. The Taliban then started peace talks, but they didn't lead anywhere, and now during the past month there have been dozens or even close to 200 districts overrun. So before the government releases further Taliban prisoners, they want some assurances that they will get something in return. And the Taliban's past experience suggests that they're rather dragging their feet and just using this to get even more concessions.
Franz Marty in Kabul, thank you very much indeed.